What's up? This is Mike Pistone. I got a request on YouTube to do a video on my blast technique and also to answer how I learned how to blast, etc. So I'll start off with that, and then I'll get into the specifics of my technique and which blasts I use. The biggest help that I had as far as learning how to blast was the internet. I would just watch videos on YouTube and just all over the place on all the different drumming forums like the Roddy forum and Blastology and all the other ones, and I would just always be on there. When I wasn't drumming, I was on the computer, I was on the forums, I was just watching all these videos of all these guys drumming and seeing what they did. Just trying to emulate what they did, because obviously they were doing it better than I was. Also, working on my weak limbs was really helpful, because naturally I developed a molar in my right hand, which I'm going to get into obviously a little later in this video. My right hand had this really strong molar, and it was like, so mostly wrist but a little bit of finger when I needed, and my left was just dead in the water. It was just along for the ride. So when I really started thinking about what my left is doing, and feet as well, that really opened my eyes for a whole world of exercises and practice. Alright, so the biggest thing after I started paying attention to my weak limbs, and really starting to pay attention to how to make my blasting and just overall my technique more efficient for me, so I wasn't absolutely dying when we played, and so I could play the things I wanted to play and play faster and play more precisely and just more solid overall. Was definitely working on my grip. Alright, in this clip you'll see my hands are basically a German grip, just like you suspected. Somewhat American, I guess, at times, as it gets a little faster, and then as it really picks up to the really quick stuff, usually I go to a French, then that'll be essentially the only time. Except for sometimes, even when I'm playing slow stuff, I'll end up sort of playing French grip. But yeah, in this clip you'll also see that I am using one foot to blast, which is my own personal take. It's not better than two-footing or anything. I will two-foot randomly with really fast stuff, or depending on the situation, like if I'm playing one of my other bands where I'm not running triggers, I'm not being mic'd, etc. If we have some fast blast part, I'll just blast with 2 feet. I usually play 1 foot because I developed that early on, and that was basically from watching like Derek Roddy videos, George Calais, etc. But it was really Roddy who got me interested in using my left foot while blasting with my right, and for anything, whether it be opening and closing the hi-hat, just keeping time, or using it for effects, getting little quick bites. Another one of the questions was, where do I typically hold my stick, and how does that kind of affect, is that important, and how does that affect the blasting? I'm using Vader Power 5Bs at the moment. I have been for probably a few years now. These are a little bit longer. These are about 16 and a half long as opposed to the traditional 16. That's what I meant. And I usually hold them, with a little bit showing. I don't really choke up on them too much. I don't get any rebound that way. But I also am not very fond of holding them all the way down. It's just a little too much, and again, you don't get any rebound. My sweet spot is more of like having the Vader showing. Another one of these questions was, what finger technique do I use while I'm blasting? I use all fingers sometimes, just with the fast French stuff. And other than that, slow stuff, it'll be a wrist with a molar thing. And as it picks up, definitely some more finger gets incorporated. And then another one of the questions was, how do I train my hands to look so comfortable and powerful at the same time? The answer to that is basically just practice. And it's always a work in progress for me. Also, disclaimer on this video is that this is just my own personal take on how I blast and what I'm working on as of now. I mean, a couple of years from now, I could have a whole other form of what I'm doing. So this is just how I've evolved as of yet. And yeah, so all the people that are blasting with their pinkies out and playing all fingers or playing all wrist or French all the time or just a straight German, that's all awesome, and they're all killing it and doing what they have to do, and that's what's important. So this is really just how I'm doing what I do. So I hope this answers your questions. If you want to see any exercises in particular, whatever, I can do another video on that. Same with feet stuff. If you're interested, you can do that as well. But I believe that sums this up. Thanks.